local governments in southern Kaduna are being invaded on regular basis. Invasion by people we have come to identify, because the communities that have been invaded have identified the people in making those invasions. They are Fulani militia that continue to invade local governments, communities across the local governments, where they massacre people in the communities, they destroy, they burn the houses, they rape the women, they abduct some people, and the rest of the members of the community will be displaced into neighboring communities. But those displaced into neighboring communities can only stay there, waiting for the next invasion to be further displaced. And it continues in a cycle like that. But one thing that is so pathetic about it is that with all these invasions, the governor in Kaduna State has gone to bring up, or he's promoting some narratives to mislead the public. What are those narratives? He calls it communal clash. And I have heard severally, they call it herders and farmers clash. And what the presidency, weeks ago, when the attack took place in Kaura local government, where a group of teenagers were celebrating the wedding party, the wedding of one of their peers, and 22 of them were killed in one night. The presidency came up with another narrative that it is a clash between gangsters. And so, all these narratives, none of them is capturing what is happening. Now, the people that are killed in these communities, they are mostly women and children. 95% of the people that are killed are women and children. And they are killed at night. The invasions take place mostly at night or early morning hours when people are still in bed. And so women and children who cannot run are the victims most of the time. And the question we keep asking is, with this narrative, the women that are killed and the children, they are not killed in their farms. They are killed in their homes, on their beds, while they sleep. They put fire in their house, it burns, and people burn into ashes. They trigger, they fire a shot, people are running helter-skelter, pulling their children, and they hack them down. At the wake of the day, you see several days, no previous quarrel with anybody. The people that come to invade, you don't know them. And so the people that also come to invade don't come with cattle. So the person who is saying farmers herders clash, the people don't come with cattle, they come with AK-47, well armed, and they come with machetes. They either shoot with the AK-47 or they hack down with the machetes. They hack down 3 months old baby. Those 3 months old baby, 5-year-old children, are they also farmers? Or are they also members of gang? So all these narratives are a conspiracy that has been cooked up to protect and defend and promote this genocide that is going on. But we have come to know that it is the local Fulanis that we have that are staying in our midst, that collaborate with foreign Fulanis. They call those invaders, and they come into our communities, and they attack the people, and they kill, and they maim, and they rape, and they displace them. And up to now, contrary to what the governor said just a few days ago on Chinese television, that there is no community that is under occupation. We have several, several communities across the local governments, in the local government, communities along Kala axis. More than 15 have been displaced. They cannot go to their farms. They cannot go to harvest. They cannot go to those communities that have been displaced. They are now living in primary schools, mostly uncompleted primary schools. People, good spirited individuals are the ones that have to take things to them, not the government. We have another displaced set of people in Zonkua right now, right inside Zonkua, the headquarters of Zambia. The last week we were there, there were over 2,000. And the last time we were in Kala, displaced camp, there were over 7,000 people. We took food items to those people there. And so, this is what our communities are going through. So, what we see that Governor El-Rufai is doing is, by his body language, he is covering up the genocide that is going on across our communities. And he's bringing narratives that is misleading the public that it is either farmers' herders clash or it is communal clash over land. Which land? There is no land, there is nobody that is fighting over land. The narrative given by even the task force commander of the Operation Safe Haven, a Major General, after they had a security meeting, that it is the Katavute and Fulani militia that are clashing. But if you look at the gory pictures, we have pictures that we have personally gone to those invaded communities and we have taken those pictures. We have videos. We have conducted interviews on site, on the location of these invasions. And you will see that the people that are killed, they don't look like a 3-month-old baby. A 2-year-old baby cannot be a member of a gang. An 18-year-old woman cannot be a member of a gang. So something is happening. And the nation, I'm calling on the nation, Nigeria, the rest of the nation, must come together and look at what is going on. Because this genocide is going on in Southern Kaduna. It also has been going on in Plateau, particularly among the Bureau communities, in Benue State, in Niger State, along the Bagi communities in Niger State. So there are some selected communities that are being invaded and their lands are gradually being taken over. These people are being displaced. And what the question that begs for an answer is, the federal government, the state government have not made an effort in whatever manner to go and apprehend these people that have killed and maimed and raped and took over these communities, to bring them to justice, to prosecute them. Not a single one of them has been prosecuted up to the time I'm talking. The communities oftentimes make their effort, the youth of the community, after every attack, they will make effort to even apprehend some of them, hand them over to the security agencies. They will be paraded. After that, you hear nothing about it. And oftentimes, when most of these youth of the community go after these invaders, when they have invaded, and the security will not go after them, they look around in the nearby hills or the nearby bushes, and the security will tell you they have not been given order to go after them. When the youth of the community go after them using their den guns and their machetes, the security will now apprehend them and take and throw them into their vans and jail them and put them into detention. And now the victim becomes the aggressor. And the aggressor is looking around just to come back again and kill and do further harm. Now, Zambo Kete local government, Jama local government, Kaura local government, and Kaur local government, they have been under 24 hours curfew. And it appears as if Governor El-Rufai is using curfew to keep the people, to tame the communities, so that the invaders will have an easy access and get them in one place and kill. Because for the past 8 weeks, Zambo Kete has been under curfew. But we have had 2 attacks where people have been killed. Just last Saturday, there was a mass burial in Goragan because of an attack. And the attackers went and attacked and killed and destroyed when there was a 24 hours curfew. But the locals cannot go to their farm. They will be arrested because they were told that they are violating the curfew. But the invaders have found their way with their AK-47 to kill at will. This is what we are going through in our community.
Thank you very much, Honorable. And it's really disheartening listening to the narrative that the things you're saying, how people lose their lives. and these people look around. The question that I want to put across to you for the viewers and for everyone to actually, get understanding of what is happening, because you are on ground, you are in the hotspot of what is happening. This meeting or this conversation this evening is being streamed online on Facebook. It's the world is watching us. Now, my question to you before I get to the next guest, what is it when you say that they look around? Are they? Do you consider them Nigerians? Are they people of a certain place, or are they foreigners? Because it appears, or are they ghosts? Why can't they be apprehended?
Well, it's unfortunate that our northern borders are so dangerously porous and have been deliberately made so porous that these foreigners come in and out at will. The borders between Nigeria and Chad, the border between Nigeria and Niger Republic, and other countries that are neighboring us in the northern flank of the country. They have been made porous. You will recall that the governor of Kano State, Governor Ganduje, a few weeks ago made a call that the ECOWAS protocol that allows the free influx of people across the borders should be reviewed. And in his words, that the Fulani
I think maybe he's okay. So I think his internet is beginning to have some issues here. So before I'm going to go to the next person. That are you back? Okay, he's not back. I'm going to go to the next person now. I think the internet actually yanked him off. Then that's fine. I don't know. In case if you have any questions or any clarifications, there is a way to on your screen. You can raise up your hand. Then we can call you up. We can call upon you to ask your question. Now I don't know if Colonel. I don't know if Colonel Tony Nyiam is ready. Then we can have. I mean, having had what. Yes. Sorry, who is? I can hear you now. Okay, so Colonel, Colonel.
All right.
No, Colonel, you're on now, so you can go ahead. I mean, having Colonel, let me just so that we get this, more structured. You've heard what Honorable Jonathan said, and you have what the PRO also said. Now, it is a myth, and it has gone from saying Fulani militia to communal clash. The question many people are asking: what is happening? What about self-defense? Can the people defend themselves? I mean, you've been in the military. You are obviously also a human rights activist now. So, what is your thought in the whole thing that you've heard?
First of all, I must begin by thanking the two gentlemen who are leaders of the victims. Mr. Jonathan has really summarized the problem well. So has the earlier speaker. And to buttress what Mr. Jonathan himself has said, Governor El-Rufai himself once openly admitted that these Fulanis were foreign Fulanis who come in. And what is strange also, the president and commander-in-chief himself, once, I think it was in an interview, if I'm not mistaken, either with Amampo or somewhere abroad, where he admitted that these were foreign people coming in. With these admissions and the fact that the narrative is being changed, I've argued over time that the narrative of two people fighting, which is the typical police, it's deliberate attempt. What is happening, if we look at it, the southern Kaduna area and the plateau have for a long time been what I would say at the buffer zone. And the attacks on them, I would tell those of us from the south that if we fold our arms and allow the people of southern Kaduna, the people of southern Borno, and people of the plateau to be displaced, it will just be that it will be our turn after them. The whole problem is that I was so disappointed by the task force commander or Operation Safe Haven, Major General somebody Okonkwo, when he said so preemptively, said it wasn't an ethnic cleansing. One, he made the statement after security meeting in the governor's, the state house, a governor who the people, the victims perceive to be biased against them. So all I'm saying is that even the army commander was too quick to come to conclusion that the invasion has not to do with ethnic cleansing. I think what is going on really is that I think the rest of Nigerians have to wake up to the reality that whatever happens to these poor people in southern Kaduna and Plateau, it is really the beginning of what will happen to all of us. And I think we should. I'm happy one of the people here is abroad. We need to start getting this message across that certain Fulani militias are invading farming communities, and it is an invasion. And we need to keep on allowing the government to stop speaking the lie, because it's all along a lie. The government, they know. If the president himself has said it, that the invasions are from foreign people, and Eruf said once added to it in the deal he said he was going to make to kind of bribe these people or to pay them back. So all I can say is that we all need to call on the international community, and for we, our people, for us to be united, because very soon they will use election to try to divide us into compartments. So that's what I can say for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Colonel. And, you know, to buttress your point and to drive from what you just said, last week we had the former governor of Zamfara State, Yari, actually, and he said the following: Fulani invites foreigners and pay them with cows or cash to kill us. And he said something very instructive. He said that as a sitting governor, he once had intel that he gave to the military, and nothing happened. About over 28 people were killed in one day. That was when, after which he made that famous statement that he has resigned from being the chief security officer of Zamfara, because there was nothing. A man who was elected and was called and had the appendage of being the chief security officer of a state, but he had no succor to give to his people. On that note, I will bring again, if Yinka Odumakin is ready, Yinka, we would want to hear your thoughts on the conversation this evening. You are being spotlighted. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's a sad experience to hear this evening about Southern Kaduna killings. Because I remember that in the days of Angida, when Zamani Leopold's was put on trial, we were all over fighting against the persecution of Zamani Leopold, who would have been killed then. He escaped to escape the hangman's noose. And like Colonel Tony started, I think we should put it clear. Just go with this killer. He said he already made a kid, he already paid them a fool like him. And they told him because they killed their cows that they came back to kill, he has paid them money for taxpayers' money. I think at this point, I was glad to hear Jonathan saying that Sarah Kaduna is center of Kaduna. They should be and ask El-Rufai, was it the same people you paid or different people who are back killing us? And what are you doing at this point? Sarah Kaduna should do that effectively. The rest of us should not ask the federal government, who had Garba Shehu speaking for it, to the fact that what's going on in South Kaduna now is revenge killing. We need to ask them, those they had made deal with or those have arrested, who told them they were revenging? So that, because like what I said, the Southern Kaduna turn today, it will be the turn of any of us tomorrow. We must not accept that explanation. That explanation shows that the federal government has arrested some people who told them that they are revenging killings, or they are parts of the planning of this genocide that's going on in Southern Kaduna. But for us, our suspicion for now is that an agenda for genocide is going on to chase people away from the land, to take away their land, and especially the jihad is especially going on. And I don't understand how some people can be comfortable and be claiming that they are governments when it was left, right, and center, women, children, and people will be comfortable to see their government. Because the very first duty of any government is to be able to secure the lives and property of citizens. When Jonathan said that, it's safe. It's going to force they come after them, arrest them, and don't arrest the killers. If it is true, it means that what we have is clearly a state-sponsored or aided or permitted genocide that is going on. And this should not be acceptable by us. We should give every support we need to the people of Southern Kaduna to ward off this aggression, this killing, seer killings that is going on a daily basis. And we must frontally hold the government responsible and accountable so that they can hold their hands. Genocide. It's not acceptable. We reject it. And we cannot, in good conscience, say that the government has done well in this instance. They have not done well. we should obtain awareness all over the world about what's going on in Southern Kaduna, so that the lives of people can be safe. They should not continue to be killed like fowls, the way they have been done presently. I must say the truth. The truth is that the Nigerian government at this moment is behaving irresponsibly over these killings because they are not doing what the government should do. They are doing what leaders of the gangs that are responsible for the killings should be doing, not what a responsible government should be doing. Our eyes are full of tears because these are our brothers and sisters being killed left, right, and center. And for every day that we allow this to go on, we are all allowing ourselves to be decapitated by these killers who are called Fulani herdsmen. There's nothing like a clash going on. When you have a clash, you have two people of almost equal strength fighting themselves. But in a situation where a group of people are coming, killing on every day, it's a sensitive community. You cannot call that as a clash. It's terror that's going on. It's full of terror against Southern Kaduna communities. That's currently going on, and it must stop by all means.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much once more for that contribution. And please, for housekeeping here, we will be taking questions on this segment. But before we do, for this segment, I would want to bring in my sister here, Annkio Briggs, to make her contribution. We still have Jonathan Asake, Honorable Jonathan Asake, and we have Luka Biniat. These are leaders from Southern Kaduna who are with us here. So if you do have any question, if there is anything you want them to clarify, please get your question ready and by raising up your hand. At the moment Annkio Briggs finishes, then we will take your questions. Annkio, thank you very much, and you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I really am just speechless because between some of the people seated here, I have had personal conversations with each and every one of you over the past 1 week or two over this Kaduna genocide. There is nothing, for me, I can't even refer to it as Kaduna killings. It's Kaduna genocide. I mean, it's a pogrom, it's a genocide, it's ethnic cleansing, it's religious cleansing. And as a Christian, I'm totally heartbroken. I don't know what else to say. Definitely, we have to, as human beings and as Christians, and so far, as long as we remain in Nigeria, as Nigerians, all of us have to speak up. It's very clear to me. Everybody has narrated what we all know. El-Rufai, what El-Rufai said 3-4 years ago, how he paid them, like Yinka said, how El-Rufai has said in the past that these are revenge killings, how people from the villa representing the president have referred to us, not just the Southern Kaduna or Medubel people, have directed us, if you like, or advised people. I come from the Creeks, so it's not land, but have advised people that they should consider an option of your life or your land or your ancestral land. We've sat down in Nigeria over the past 5 years or so to listen to the preparation leading up to this. The fact that this has been pre-arranged over a period of years, more years than some of us can count, is in the national conference that I heard for the first time, and I told them so, from people who are from the Middle Belt and were narrating to me personally the horrors they have endured in the hands of Earthmen and the people that migrated into their land, you know. And so I believe very strongly that what they are doing in southern Kaduna now, the preparation for it to be done in other parts of Nigeria is already done. They've finalized the preparation. The arms they will use, I believe they have positioned those arms. I believe they have positioned the men and the youths that will carry out these heinous activities that the southern Kaduna people are suffering. But I think I'm also speaking most particularly as a Christian. I watched the video that went viral all over the world, where a man, a middle-aged man, was kneeling down. He was weeping, he was sobbing, he was pouring I'm sure all of you saw it, but he was pouring the ash from where he was praying, where he was crying on his head and asking for mercy. And you know, I literally went down, I went down on my knees, and there were no ash, but I was crying, and I was following him and asking for mercy, not just for southern Kaduna people, but for us, all of us, Yoruba people, Igbo people, Niger Delta people, because this thing is not going to be restricted to southern Kaduna alone. The attack is mainly on the area that produces food. And so once they finished with that area and were hungry, we in the south, in the down Niger Delta, that have decided or have been imposed upon by the devastation of our environment not to be able to grow food, we will go hungry. Hunger is a weapon of war. Ethnic cleansing, religious cleansing is a weapon of war. So I join everybody to say that whatever we have to do, whatever we can do, however we can shout, whatever documents we have to sign, we have to be part of the process that will shout as loud as we can, because this thing is not going away by what I don't see how a president of a country, what's happening here is happening in Mali. And so I don't see what Nigeria intends to achieve from Mali, because they know what is going on in Mali, and it's a copycat of what is going on in Mali. So whatever we have to do, my brothers, please, let us do it, so that if the southern Kaduna Christians are going to be the people that have paid this price, then let us help them to stop it as soon as possible and make sure that it doesn't get to us. This is just the Archbishop of Canterbury, that he is supposed to be the personal friend of President Buhari and is able to speak as a Christian is horrific.
Thank you very much. I think that's a very...
I've finished.
Oh, sorry. I think I was stuck in a technical blip here. You know, obviously you just captured it, because the video you alluded to is a video that every one of us saw. That was a video of burnt church. I mean, you know, when the man was crying, and as the man was basically crying, every human that's seen that video would definitely be touched. Beyond that, I think that was about last week or 2 weeks ago, we all saw young children. I mean, children of, I think some of them were 5, some like around 12 or 16.
Even breastfeeding.
I mean, you ask yourself, where is humanity? When would this madness, when would this nonsense stop? as the colonel said, this is why the South has to wake up, because if you think it's not going to get to you, once it's done, I mean, who is going to be the next target? So let's see if we have questions. Then we're going to take questions. We have participants who will be joining us from the second part of this conversation. Now, if you have your question, so please make your contribution. So let me take some comments from the people making comments here. Mazi Ekeleme says, their lawmakers are predominantly Muslims. I don't believe, and so they're also accused by keeping silent. Well, I don't know, again, if people are keeping silent. But let me actually bring back Honorable Jonathan here so that we can have some clarification, because I understand that he was in the House of Assembly for some time. Can we understand from Honorable Jonathan Asake, if you are still there, can you please, clarify to us, what is it that the reps from this area, and when you were in the House, what are those things that you or with other people have done, and where do you think that many of us and many organizations can come in to help? While you're doing that, Comrade Yayandi Andrew Monde, can you please unmute yourself? And you said you have something to say. Can you unmute yourself and go on? Comrade Yayandi Andrew, please go on. You have the floor.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, like you see the name on the screen, I'm Comrade Monday Yayandi Andrew, a community youth leader from Southern Kaduna. The president have already said, what I view what the security are doing in Southern Kaduna is just like, let me start it down, is a portion of the Nigerian constitution where they say, hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, where it says every citizen is entitled to security. It is the responsibility of the security to protect the lives and property of every citizen of the country. And it is the responsibility of the government of the federation to protect every individual and the properties of every citizen. But case of Southern Kaduna is a different case. What we are seeing in Southern Kaduna is that now protection of our lives and property is now interest. What the government are playing, they are just playing their interest. They are just playing a partisan politics, whereby they don't value the lives of some other people, value the lives of other people. They shelter other people and expose other people to all these people. I don't believe when you call somebody a terrorist, like when you go to social media, what is going around, what the governor is saying, that what is happening in Southern Kaduna, it is a terrorism activity that is going around all the state. But what role is he playing? How many of these terrorists has he arrested? How many of these terrorists did he prosecute? How many of these terrorists did he send them into jail? I bet not. Instead, the victims of these terrorists, they are the ones that have molested, been exposed to security, have been suffering in diverse ways. So what I'm seeing from my point of view, or what I'm seeing as a community leader, as a youth leader, what I will be experiencing is government are playing politics. They are shifting from their responsibility of protecting the life of every citizen to protecting the life of certain particular people of their interest. That is what is happening, and that is what is. That is why they come up with all these languages that it is attack whatsoever. This is not the situation. Just like if you go to our post and you go to Southern Kaduna, we usually show pictures of the victims. We bring out their copies. Let them bring out if they say, yeah, it is a request that we agree, let them show the pictures of those people who is representing.
Okay.
The militia represent, yeah, that is what I want to. That is
okay.
in addition to what my president does say. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So before we come back to your president, Honorable Jonathan Asake, let me take another question from Mr. Abasi Lukanu. So, Mr. Abasi, please, can you unmute yourself and make your contribution? No, you're still muted. We can't hear you. Mr. Abasi, you are still muted. Can you please unmute yourself?
Is it all right?
Yes, go ahead now.
Okay. I said, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I don't have much to say other than to support what Mrs. Briggs said. It is war that is declared on Nigeria. So we should stop all this grammar. I've said it several times. Let us, the South, that's the major tribes in the South, let them wake up. And even the opposition, called the so-called opposition, they are all silent. I don't know what they are waiting for. They should wake up. Enough is enough, this nonsense. Why should these few individuals be holding Nigeria ransom? Enough is enough. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was very quite sharp and straight to the point. I'm going to bring back again Jonathan here. Jonathan, there is a question that I asked before I took comments. Now, the question was, what are the lawmakers from these areas? What are they doing? And you were once, within the National Assembly. So what are those things that you people initiated and doing? Where can we come in? Go ahead, Jonathan.
Well, thank you. Can you hear me very well now?
Yes, we can see you and hear you loudly and clear.
Okay, thank you. You see, we're seeing a very strange time happening now. I was in the House of Reps between 1999 to 2003. Within that time, there was the Sharia crisis. Remember that crisis, the Sharia killing, where Sharia was introduced in Zamfara State and the waves of it came to Kaduna. A motion was moved in the House of Assembly that it must be imposed in Kaduna. And the Christians, knowing that Kaduna State is a 50-50 thing, said no. And it brought about killings that people, over 3,000 people were killed. That one is already known. Now, within that time, the governor then, Governor Ahmed McCarthy, had a meeting with him. And we said, look, all the time we have known the process of education in the North has always been Sharia education. Christians are taken to area courts and they're given Islamic judgment. And so McCarthy, looking at that, he formed a committee and a committee of legal reforms. And so he established customary courts, Sharia courts for the Muslims that want to go there, and then the normal conventional courts, the magistrate courts. And it solved that problem. Again, our ethnic nationalities were demanding for self-determination to have their own kings. McCarthy again set a committee, and to every ethnic nationality, we have about 67. They were given their own chief. But what is strange now with this person, I'm just trying to say that we had a government that was listening. The governor was a listening governor. Then came Namadi Sambo, who stayed for only 2 years and became the vice president. But he continued with that legacy. Then Yekoa, of blessed memory, came in the first person in a democracy to be from Southern Kaduna. and he died in a plane crash. But what we have today, with the emergence of Nasiru El-Rufai as governor of Kaduna State, everything has turned upside down. Everything. First of all, the district heads that he made, he did not appoint them. He dissolved all of them. They went to court. They won the case. He has not reinstated them. Secondly, the Adara community, they had a paramount ruler who was kidnapped and ransom was paid and he was killed in circumstances that I don't want to talk about now. But up till now, 2 years after, he has not appointed any other ruler for this community. But instead, in a community that is almost 98% Christian, he has created an emirate in that community and appointed an emir. He has gone to other communities to create emirates. Emirate is an Islamic enclave, an Islamic kingdom. And so, even what is going on now, we have heard that he has brought back the 1992 Zango Kataf crisis, which was over location of market. It was not over location, it was not over land. Because he is telling people that it was over land. It was never over land. The report is there. Now he has constituted another committee in very controversial circumstances that they should review that. And we know that it is all indicating to the fact that he is witch-hunting some prominent sons of that place. And he wants to create an emirate in Zango Kataf local government where you have less than 1% of the population there that can claim an emirate system. So so this justices, we see what is happening, that it is just a way of taking over the entirety of Southern Kaduna, because those that displaced our people and killed them are still there. They have not been brought to justice. And let me give you an instance. We have it was finished as a grazing reserve in 1997 with 33,000 hectares in landmass. Now, today, all Fulanis coming to that, but this governor, El-Rufai, has increased that land to 74,000 hectares, a very large area, and remove it administratively from Zango Kataf local government to Kacha local government to change demographics. And today, we had also, it is one of the places that he wants to make an emirate. We heard he wants to create emirates and demote our chiefs, so that when a meeting is called of stakeholders, then you will find only emirs, as if the land is of emirs, but it is not. So this is the difference between what we had then and what we have now. I don't know if our representative now have his ear. Only about a few days ago, about 5 days ago or so, he came on air, on channels, and said that our representatives, you know, they don't know what they were doing. They were like idiots. And that is exactly what we're having with the man. If this man wants this thing to stop, it will stop. If it doesn't, it will continue. There's a large deployment of the military in the southern part of Kaduna. Yesterday, they had a show of force in Kabanchan. But somebody called me this evening and said he heard that they are going to continue to search houses of the locals, of our people. And whenever that search is made, they find you with a bow and arrow, it is taken. They find you with a knife, it is taken. They find you with a game gun, it is taken. And once that is done in any community, that community can only relocate because nobody will be left alive. And so this is what we are going through. I have continued to insist that we are contending not with the Fulani people. We are contending not only with the Fulani people, we are contending with the federal government and the state government. Because without the support of the authorities that is in place today, These Fulanis will not be in southern Kaduna, killing at will, brazenly, and nothing is done. But because they are protected, when they kill, they massacre at night. And when the youth come back in the morning and they start going after them, like I said earlier, they are arrested. They are the ones that are arrested and detained. In fact, if you even write about it or you talk about it, you risk being jailed. My PRO, Lukabinia, that is here in this meeting with us, he was jailed for over how many weeks? Over 10 months. We have a paramount ruler, the king of the chief of Kurama, one of our tribes here. A kidnapper, a hardened kidnapper, was arrested, was taken to his palace, and he said, well, take him to the security people. And they took him to the security. And he doesn't know what happened, but he was arrested, he was detained for months, he was humiliated, and he was suspended. Up till now, nobody is talking about it. This is what our people are going through. When you speak out, you are arrested, you are thrown in jail, they keep shifting, no bail. And when there are so many, there are elders that were detained when their people who were being killed. All of them were arrested and detained for no charge. And they were detained there for months until they were released without any charge on them, up till today. So this is the story that we are going through with this Governor El-Rufai, on daily basis.
Well, thank you very much for that graphic explanation, because obviously there is nothing to take away from what you've just described, other than there is an orchestrated plan and an attempt to basically take over southern Kaduna from the original owners. I will take another question from Mazi Obi Okoli. Mazi Obi Okoli, if you can unmute yourself and go ahead with your question. Mazi Obi Okoli, go ahead. Can you unmute yourself, please? Mazi Obi Okoli, you raised your hand that you want to ask a question. So can you please go ahead and take your question? Okay, so it appears you're not ready to take your to ask your question. On that note, we are still expecting one or two guests to join us, but while that is, while we are still on, let us here look at solutions, because we are not only converging here to give solidarity support to the people of the Middle Belt and the Southern Kaduna. Now, the question here this evening is, what will be our takeaway? Having been here together, having listened to the people of Southern Kaduna, obviously everybody will be thinking, we've listened to a lot of distressing narrative, how and what is happening in Southern Kaduna. What will be our takeaway? Let us bear in mind that this conversation this evening is being hosted by the Southern and Middle Belt Christian Forum. So what are those things that we will be taking away, probably getting the the international community involved, raising alarm that something extraordinary is happening in this part of Nigeria. To kickstart that conversation, I will be bringing back again Colonel Tony Nyiam to please, on your concluding thoughts on one part and the solution, because we will be rounding up, so we don't want this to exceed 2 hours. So, Colonel, if you're there, can you please unmute yourself, turn your camera on, and speak to us? Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, we can now hear you.
I thank you, the moderator, Annkio, Yinka, and Jonathan Asake, and the other gentlemen for this work. As to where we are, I I would say that the President, General Muhammadu Buhari, or those who are advising him have to be made to clearly that it does appear that they are complicit. Complicit in the sense that being killed repeatedly and nothing is being done. We need to allow the international community know, and that like other people have had to face international courts for genocide, we have to drum this strongly so that, because we cannot accept these killings repeatedly. We have a situation where many of our people who are in the services, for the sake of their own promotion or whatever, seems to be allowing themselves to be used. And they forget that after, they would also face the consequences of being allowed to be used. So one of the first things is that we need to mobilize the international community to be aware of this ongoing genocide. That is one key thing we need to do. Secondly, we need internally to allow the president know that we are fed up with all these pretenses. Because what we see here is that there is some, you need to prove up. To show that he's not complicit. That's where I rest my case.
Thank you very much for that, brief summary. So there is something that you've said that sticks out. We have to take international action. Obviously, that is no longer something left, that is going to be left for actions only within Nigeria, that the international community must be alerted regarding the incidents and the killings happening in southern Kaduna. Before I get to Yinka Odumakin, for his concluding thought and suggestion, let me take a question from Kolawale. Kolawale, can you please unmute yourself? Yes, you've done that. And can you make your contribution, sir?
Yes, thank you so much. I'm particularly worried about these continued killings in Nigeria, which has assumed a very dangerous dimension since Buhari became president. Before Buhari became president, a few of us knew that danger was lurking the corner. And unless we want to deceive ourselves, there is a grand Fulani plan to overrun the whole of Nigeria. And I'm grateful to you for organizing this, if only to reawaken us to the danger in which all of us live in. Ourselves, our parents, our relations, everywhere in Nigeria, nobody is safe today. And we cannot say this loud enough. It bothers me when I hear people play politics with this or try to be politically correct. Every other Nigerian, apart from the Fulani, is being threatened as we are talking today. And the Fulani are fully prepared, like my sister, Annkio Briggs said. They have the arms, they have the manpower, they have it all well mapped out. What are we doing? Are we going to be sitting ducks to allow these people to just overrun us and kill us and take over our land? Are we going to remain mute or just make some noise? We have to be coordinated. These people have think tanks that work for them. Can we bring in our best heads, our heads to sit in a place where they can begin to issue statements, write reports, and like it is said, make a coordinated, well-prepared case for genocide at the International Criminal Court. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kolawole, for that wonderful contribution. Yinka Odumakin, please, you are next now. So what's your concluding thoughts and a possible solution to the mess that we found ourselves in? Yinka, you're on now. But you've muted yourself. If you unmute yourself, then yes, you've done that. Go ahead.
Marks of Nyiam.
Yes.
This is what my friend Kolawole has just said. We must take decisive actions at this point. And I think the Southern Kaduna people, their voice should not be within Kaduna alone. Their voice now should come to the federal capital in Abuja with support from the rest of us to alert the nation to the dangers of genocide going in Kaduna and the need to put a stop to it.
Sorry, Yinka, are you suggesting in form of a protest or just for clarification?
Yeah, it's clear. It's not an issue. Okay. Now, out of the international pressure I will talk about, I think somebody mentioned earlier among the Archbishop of Canterbury, who has been very, very pronounced Nigerian affairs. In fact, a personal friend of our president. Neither do our people also know that the chief assistant to that Archbishop of Canterbury is a Bishop Idowu Ferron, who was a bishop in Kaduna. We should be able to call out the Archbishop of Canterbury, make a public statement now about what's going on in Southern Kaduna, where more than half of the states, who are mostly Christians, have been persecuted this way. And he is so interested in Nigerian affairs, he has kept so mum on this issue. Perhaps his bishopric assignment on Nigeria is only for M116, but we must call him out. And of course, the International Criminal Courts about taking this to criminal courts must also be looked at very critically. I mean, it's so important. And finally, to say that my heart goes to as the continue to pack their body now and then. This will come to an end very soon, and that justice will come to.
Okay, so thank you very much, Yinka. I was thinking if I could bring back Bian for to make his closing remark and suggestion, but Luca Abiniat, I think he's dropped. Now, on that note, I will be bringing in Annkio Briggs. Annkio, if you could basically, please, can you mute your, if you have that telephone ringing, can you please stop that? Yeah, thank you very much. So can you make your final contribution and with a way forward, what is a solution that we all gathered here could help the people of Southern Kaduna to pursue and implement?
All right. I want to suggest that based on the contribution that we all have made here, and it is, we're gathered here on a Sunday evening like this, when most people are getting ready for the week and all of that. It's not that we don't have anything to do, it's out of love and genuine concern and fear, actually. I want to suggest that we should kickstart this thing, this group. Yinka is noted, well recognized, well known for his role in in the mobilization and leading and working for his people, and under Adebayo them and all of that. And I don't think that the Yoruba nation that he's working with will be opposed to that. I don't think my people will be opposed to that as a Christian and coming from the Niger Delta and my ethnic nationality and every other ethnic nationality in the Niger Delta, because we're not even reckoned with as a people, because they claim there are 3 major ethnic nationalities, and I wonder where we fall. So I think that if we can very quickly, between us, begin to draft a letter. I know why I raised the issue of the Archbishop of Canterbury. It is a way, it is calling him out. I am calling him out, and I've said it before, so if we can do a letter immediately, and thank God for technology, nobody has to pay for it to be delivered except only for the purpose of making sure that we did send it through DHL or something. But I definitely, if we do a letter and all the ones that are prepared to sign this letter are able to sign it and throw it out into social media, send it to the media houses, CNN, all the international bodies. Right now, if we can do that, I believe it will help the Southern Kaduna people, and reference the Southern Kaduna people, copy the Southern Kaduna movement, and all the different Middle Belt movement, and also reference anybody that is referenceable in social media, and then continue to do what we're doing right now. We will bring attention, because we also know what these people can do when you bring out people. People have been governed by fear so much that even if you call them, they may not want to come out. So my people say, whether you die lying upwards or you die lying on your stomach, death is death. So I think that the few of us here have demonstrated capacity and willingness, if you like, to say no. And I think a little drop of water make a mighty ocean. I believe that there are people somewhere, if they see Yinka's name and hear his voice, if they see you, my brother that just spoke last, if people see those names, people will, at least at home, will pay attention. But please, let's do something from tomorrow. Let a letter go out to wherever, the queen, the king, anything, anybody, somebody is bound to pay attention. Somebody is bound to feel the compassion and the pain that we are feeling. Please, let's do something.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Annkio, for that contribution. I mean, obviously here we have the suggestions. We can, alert the international community that we need to take actions, to assert international pressure, draft a letter that could be signed by many of us, the conveners of this meeting this evening. And on that note, I will be bringing Jonathan Asake for the last time. Obviously, the reason, you will pardon me, but the reason why I have to keep on bringing you is that in my own place, as a title chief in the Igbo nation, it is called Onyensi Naapa Nebuzo. He who wants to go to the toilet always goes first. Therefore, we would bring you back again just to give us your concluding remark and, guide us properly if you agree with the suggestions so far made. Thank you very much, and you can now unmute yourself.
Yes,
okay.
I agree 100% with the suggestion. I agree because, like Colonel Nyiam observed earlier, what is going on in Southern Kaduna, we see it as just the dress rehearsal for the agenda that is being unrolled for the entire country. And the mode of operation of the killings and the invasions across our communities, we have seen that it is the same thing that happens in other states, neighboring states, mostly the states of the Middle Belt, and the same conspiracy of cover-up, of bringing out narratives that is being sold out to cover up the real intention of these invasions. So it is very timely that these proactive measures are taken so that the Nigerian state, the leaders will know that we all know the intention of these attacks, the intention of the agenda behind these attacks. It is nothing but to take over the lands of the people and change demographics and bring up a rule of some exclusive ethnic nationality. I'm talking about the Fulani. And that is why I was talking about this Laduga area that today we all know in southern Kaduna that area, which is exclusively for Fulanis now, is the fastest developing town in the whole of the state. And all Fulanis from all over the world and even across are coming to settle there. They don't need to buy any land. There is land for them. And so it's like the capital. And the attacks that we have are mostly from that place. So it's actually a very timely suggestion that we take proactive measures. Right?
Okay, thank you very much, Jonathan Asake, once more. On that note, I would want to thank everyone that have joined us in this conversation this evening, and also the Southern and Middle Belt Christian Forum, that for finding our time and the energy and the resources to organize this conversation this evening. As we have discussed, the Southern Kaduna killings and injustice gone too far, because that's what many of us, and that's what we believe that is happening. Sadly, we for other meetings happening in Southern Kaduna, we couldn't. Dr. Obadiah Mailafia was not able to join us, but thank you very much, Annkio Briggs, for joining us. And thank you for your wonderful contributions. The same goes for Yinka Odumakin, the National Publicity Secretary, Afenifere, and Secretary Southern and Middle Belt Forum. Yinka, thank you very much for your time. And the same goes to Lt-Col Anthony Nyiam, retired, a pro-democracy activist, and also Jonathan Asake, who just spoke last. Luca Binyat, who is also your PRO and of the people of Southern Kaduna People's Union, SOCAPU. So he's locked out, but that's fine. We are now at the tail end of this conversation this evening. Once more, I am your moderator this evening, and my name remains Mazi Tochukwu Ezoke. As we all have suggested, we will take the next actions is going to be done offline. We will be issuing statements, so watch out in the newspapers across Nigeria, the dailies, starting from tomorrow, online and in print. We will be issuing a press statement regarding what and the decisions that was taken this evening. And after the statement, be rest assured that we will also be going ahead with alerting international communities. These are part of the actions that we have agreed this evening. International pressure must be turned on, be it the Queen, as said by Annkio Briggs, be it, the Archbishop of Canterbury. The same thing is going to happen that, with the help of the people of the Southern Kaduna, we will render every help that you would need from us to probably draft a letter that is going to go to the World Court, to the ICC, because, this has to stop. Either way. On that note, thank you. once more and have a wonderful evening. Thank you, everyone, for joining this conversation. Thank you very much once more for your time. Thank you.